Assalamu alaikum and welcome to our show, Al-Islam and Community Issues. I'll be your host today, Brother Benjamin Shabazz, and we have a very special guest today, Sister Jamilah Ibrahim. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
And the reason why we brought her on the show was because in talking with her over the years, she has exposed some of her life experiences that are really extraordinary. So I said, look, let's do a show. People need to know about some of your life experiences that the average person just don't get a chance to participate in. So if you would join me in a small dua, and so we'll open up the show.
Sure.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. With the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful. Ameen.
Amen. Amen.
So, Sister Jamilah, your name is Sister Jamilah Ibrahim, right?
Yes.
Could you tell us a little bit about what that means and how you got your name?
Well, it means that, well, for Jamilah, that means beautiful, or it translates in Arabic to beautiful flower or beautiful. That was the name given. And Ibrahim, the last name, which I still keep, which was my ex-husband's last name, Ibrahim, Seth Ibrahim. And Ibrahim, the story behind that, it's in the Quran. Some people know it as Abraham, and then some know it as Ibrahim. But for me, that was a religious experience, just the story involved there. I had my father's family name also, so it's like hyphenated Stuart Ibrahim, but that got a little bit shorter when it became just Ibrahim. But I still keep the family name too.
Okay, well, speaking of family, we're going to show a picture of you and your family. Let's see if we can get a close-up on that.
Well, yeah, that was taken at the Mosque of Umar, and that was myself and my ex-husband and his grandfather. Then at the bottom are the four children: Hassan Ali, my daughter Jamilah Ibrahim, and then my son Hamas, and then my son Idris.
Here, why don't you point?
Oh, okay. This is myself,
Okay.
Ibrahim, Seth Ibrahim, his grandfather who raised him, and that's Hassan Ali, my oldest boy, and this is Jamilah Ibrahim, my daughter, who is the oldest of the four. And then these two down here at the bottom is Hamas Ibrahim and Idris Ibrahim. Idris was the youngest.
Okay, so now your husband's grandfather, you say raised him.
Yes.
Okay, so now...
With his mother, you know.
Right.
With his mother.
Okay, so now his father, not in the picture.
No, his father was not in the picture. And that had a great deal to do with the upbringing. His mother, though, was a very, very strong woman, and she was in the picture.
Okay, so basically what you're saying is he had a Anglo-Saxon grandfather and an African-American mother?
Yes, she's
Right,
African-American.
right, okay. And this is your family?
Yes.
Okay.
Only one is missing now, and that's this one at the bottom, Idris. He passed 3 or 4 years ago.
Sorry to hear that.
Mashallah.
Sorry to hear that. All right. So we go keep on pushing here. Here's another picture of you and your family.
That's us again in Chicago at the Mosque of Umar. That's me in the middle, and then that's Hamas again, and then that's Idris, and that's Ali, and this is my daughter Ibina. But there is an extra child in the picture. That's Salim, who's stayed with our family most of the time.
Okay.
That's Rashida's son.
All right.
And they, of course, are all adults now, all of them married with children that age.
Now, here's the picture here. Who is this?
That was me, and that was working for Lake County Sheriff Department. I had just checked the year it was, and that was 99. Yeah. I was in 99.
Wait a minute,
This
wait a minute.
one,
What's that then?
1991. I said 90. What I said 91? Excuse me. It was July 22nd, 1991, and this was the state of Illinois. I had went through what is called the academy in Chicago, and then was shifted over to Waukegan, Illinois, to the sheriff department.
So this here is a certificate of training, right? You was in
Yes,
training?
I went through the academy training.
Okay, okay. So you actually became a police officer?
Yes.
You went all the way through the training?
I did go all the way through the training and start working for Lake County Sheriff Department. The training was in Cook County, but the job was in Waukegan, Illinois, which is kind of a small town, so to speak, in the suburbs of Illinois.
Well, let me ask you a question, because I know we've talked about this before, about police harassment and what they tell you when the sergeant is giving you instructions to go out, but what they say they tell you in terms of fairness to our people.
Oh, yeah.
What they call it, probable cause. That's what it was.
Probable cause, yeah. We have a lot of African American and minorities that are housed in the prison system. And it comes a lot from how they were treated when they were arrested. Some of them were brutally beat, and I did get to see that. Some of them, there was really harsh discrimination, harsh prejudice. I mean, they were not treated that well, of course, being of a minority, as they called it, minority. And there were things that were done even in the department, in the sheriff department and in the police department, that was just super racist amongst the officers. Not all of them. I had quite a few friends who are, and partners that are, they're very fair and very just. But then there was those that, they used to say things like, let's see who can give out the most tickets. You know, they take bets on them, things like that. And then they would tell us, you don't have to have probable cause. There's things that you just look for. Straight up discrimination.
Like, for example?
Gym shoes, high-priced gym shoes, caps, sports caps, you know, games of Lakers and Chicago White Sox, all of that. Guys with those caps on and with the expensive gym shoes, they would stop them quite often. They would stop them. And that was really, really harassment.
What about the type of cars they have?
Same with the cars. It's like even if you're, like I was out of uniform driving my son's SUV, which I was stopped. And I'm like, why? And they're like, who this car belong to? Who are you? And et cetera, et cetera. I, of course, gave them my badge and showed them my license and all of that. And they was like, oh, we're sorry. We didn't mean to do that. And I was like, well, why did you stop me? Tail light? No. It wasn't that. It's just that we was going by the profile. I'm like, what profile? Female, Muslim. I'm just driving a new SUV, yes. And hey, it was stopped. So I know he had been getting stopped too for a while, but then it stopped. I had a lot of different experiences. My children, my sons especially, can remember having to call me at work when I was doing the night shift. And they, like I say, lived in Waukegan as well as Libertyville, which is the suburbs. They had a carnival on grounds, and what they did to make some money, they were in high school, they would break it down, them and about 4 of their friends. They would set up for them, they would break it down and get paid. They called me one night at work.
Wait a minute, hold on. You set up and break what down?
The carnival.
Okay.
And again, it was an all-white suburbs, all white area. So the police automatically stopped them and questioned them, and they gave my information. And I was able to leave and come because I generally pick them up to take them all home. So I asked the officer, and he said, well, yeah, they asked us for our badge number and all this information, and they said you worked for the sheriff department, and we didn't believe them. I said, okay, do you believe them now? And he said, yeah, but you know we have to question them. They were about 7 black young males, so we didn't know what they were up to. I said, well, didn't their boss tell you that they generally set up and break down the carnival for them? And he said, yeah. I said, so you didn't believe the owner and you didn't believe them? And I said, you know, I'm going to try reporting this to your watch commandment and let them know what happened and what you did, and give them your badge numbers. And they said, okay, well, they can go, they can leave with you now. And I did, I followed up on it. But it was extreme prejudice, straight up prejudice. I didn't even believe that the kids lived in that area, you know, until I came and they looked up my information.
So let me ask you a question now. Having that experience, in present day time, this 2018, we're still having similar events that take place like that.
We
People
do.
getting killed, beaten mercilessly, you know, railroaded into making confessions, and et cetera, et
Yeah.
cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
So what do you see as an ex-police officer, how any of this can be changed or remedied?
It can be changed and it can be remedied. The one thing that has to happen, because you have killings on both sides now, and that's definitely not good. But it can be remedied by there being more of communication, more interaction between the young people as well as the officers, and especially the police department itself and the sheriff department itself and the state troopers. That there needs to be more training and sensitivity to this issue. And after the training, there needs to still be interaction between the young people and the police officer. They all need to not just sit down together, but they need to talk and understand, and they need to listen, and they need to communicate.
Well, okay, give me an example. What's that look like?
What does it look like?
What would that scenario you just expressed, what would that look like?
It would look like coming from the mayor's office and coming from the chief of police, saying, hey, let's stop this violence. Let's sit down and get along. Let's talk. Let's communicate. Let's see why this is going on. And hey, yeah, we do know that we have some officers that are harassing and even killing and even beating. Yeah, we know that. And they do. They know it. There's been numerous cases that have been cited, even right here in Seattle. Numerous cases. So they know what's going on. They have talked about having the officers trained to sensibility to people who are mentally challenged, particularly since of the incident with the young lady, of them killing her in front of her child.
Right.
And they went to her home. Since then, they've started talking about, hey, we need to train our officers to know what to do. There have been incidents where a young man he was mentally challenged, and when they held him up, he couldn't answer them, you know. But they did not recognize the signs, and they were very clear. But it needs to be done. That communication needs to be done, and that sitting down and standing up too, not just sitting down, but standing up and actually going forward with an action plan. Now, it's a serious problem.
Very serious problem.
Yes.
Let me, and we could do 5 shows on this right now.
Yeah.
Let's kind of get through this episode here with some more of your experiences. Here we see you.
Or Lake County Special Ed. I worked Lake County Sheriff, then I worked Lake County Special Ed. And that was actually, of course, the Sheriff's Department paid more money than working as a
So where
teacher.
you at? Can you point to where you at?
This is me,
Okay. Who are these other people here?
and these are the special ed students. This is another instructor, that's another instructor, and so is that. We had 4 of us, and all of these were the special ed children. Some of them we did in class, and some of them we transferred out to regular classes.
So were
which
you
was
still an
private.
officer then?
Actually, I left there, not enough money, and went to the Sheriff's Department,
Okay.
which paid more.
Okay.
Now, that was my reason for going there.
Okay. So
Oh, yeah.
here's a picture we have here with Imam, the great Imam Siraj Wahaj.
Oh, yes. He was and still is a very good friend. I kind of grew up with him. He was in New York, but also in Chicago quite a bit. When he went to the Imam's training, my ex-husband went there with him too. So we got a chance he got a chance to really know us, get to know me and the children, mashallah. So great friend, a very good friend. Learn a lot from him.
Yeah. So now, because you know the main thrust of this, we want to talk about you and Nina Simone. Okay?
Oh, yeah.
But before we do that, we want to show a few pictures of Queen from my hometown,
Oh, yeah.
Patti LaBelle.
Patti LaBelle. She actually did a show here in Seattle. Okay. And my son, Ali, and TZ, Aisha's son, did the promotion for it. So she and I, her mother, this is Aisha,
Right.
Patti LaBelle,
Right.
this is Aisha's mom, and me on the end here.
Who's
and
that?
this lady, she worked promotion also.
Okay.
But we had a wonderful time, alhamdulillah. We got to talk with her, sit with her.
Okay.
It was a good experience, too.
So here's another picture.
Oh, yeah, that's Patti LaBelle in the center.
Patti LaBelle.
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 What are you, okay.
Yep, Patti LaBelle,
Yeah.
my son Ali, and TZ, Aisha's son.
So now this gentleman here is the son that we met at the farm?
Yeah, that's the
Ali?
one. Ali.
Ali, yeah, okay. All right.
Yeah, he had his son, Ramon, and his grandson, my great-grandson, was there too.
So one more picture.
That's Patti LaBelle on
Patti-
stage. I was able to get a good picture of her on stage performing.
Now, you know I got one of her pies at my house, you know.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. She's a great cook, besides being a great entertainer.
Yeah, she's a great cook. You know, she's got a show
Yeah.
where she invites her friends, celebrity friends to come over.
Oh,
and
yeah.
she be making things like macaroni salad, you know.
Yeah.
Uh,
She does Southern cooking,
yes, she does.
which is what I do.
Okay,
She does the Southern cooking.
okay.
You know, sweet potato pie, peach
Yeah,
cobbler.
yeah.
Oh, even, oh my God, just the greens.
And you know, she used to, you know, she's famous for, like, when she does shows,
Yeah.
she'll cook for the whole crew.
Oh, yeah.
Wherever town
Oh,
she's
yeah.
in, she'll cook for the whole crew, you know. So she got that Southern, Philadelphia Southern background,
Hospitality.
hospitality, that's right.
Says that Southern hospitality.
So Sister Jamilah, we want to thank you for sharing these things, but now we want to go into a little more depth about some of the things that you did, and one very interesting, famous person that you had opportunity to spend some time with was Miss Nina Simone.
Oh, yes.
So you want to tell us more about that?
Well, I was with a group when I got the message to go and actually interview with her. It's about 500 people there just interviewing. And I just happened to be the one that got a call back from her. And I started working in New York, Mount Vernon, New York with her. And that was really a great experience. because I had already been working with civil rights and NAACP and United Front from Cairo and doing a lot of civil rights activities. And one of the things that I learned about her, not only was she a concert pianist, and singer, she did a lot of work in civil rights. There were a lot of things she was involved in. She was very, very down to earth, which is how I ended up when I did not work for her. We became very good, close friends. Close enough where she came and visited us and spent time at our house with the family and with the community. She did a lot of community activities that were for people who were homeless, for people that did not have jobs, that did not have, some of them just simply were down on their luck. But what a lot of people don't know about her is that she was actively involved in helping them. And it showed in a lot of her songs. She was very affected by the different prejudices and discrimination that was going on. If you listen to her songs, you'll see the message in there about rights, human rights.
Name the song that you was telling me about that she made.
Oh, Mississippi Goddamn?
Right.
That was because of the young girls.
Mississippi, did you say goddamn?
Sorry, I probably wasn't supposed to say that.
I'm just messing with you.
Sorry, okay.
Mississippi goddamn, yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
but she was very hurt about the three young girls that was killed in that bombing in the church. She was very upset about that, and she was very tired of hearing about incidents like that. You know, there was a lot of civil rights leaders besides Martin Luther King and Malcolm X. There were others that were being under attack, that were being killed, young people, children, young people. And she just was very, very upset with that. Even with the stuff in Africa, her friend, Miriam Makeba, had sent her there to help with some of the things that was going on there. It wasn't just here in America where we were having apartheid.
Did you get a chance to go to South Africa with her?
With her, yes.
Alhamdulillah.
And that was a good experience, very, very good experience. But she did things outside of entertainment. She was very well accepted here in Seattle when she came and did a concert here. And this was not that long ago, because it was just before her passing. And then she went back, of course, to Europe, where she found it easier to live there.
Well, let me ask you something. I've written down some of these countries here: Israel, Germany, London. Did you travel with her to these countries?
Not all of them. With Germany, I entered a contest at the Chicago YMCA, and their youth center happened to be working there and involved in young people's program. So I entered the contest, and it was 25 that they chose out of the 1,000 to go to Germany. Mm-hmm. And we went to Germany as youth ambassadors.
Right,
That's
youth ambassadors, there you
ambassadors.
go. What about Israel and London?
Let's see, I went to London and a couple other places with the group called Up With People. Mm-hmm. I was in that group for a while. Right now, I'm an alumni, and hopefully, inshallah, they'll be coming to Seattle. But it was an international group, an international troupe, and I sung with them.
You did what?
The group is a singing group.
You can sing too?
I used to cut. Yeah, when I was younger, I sung with them, and that was part of my interview with Nina too, was reading music and singing. So, and then being able to do clerical work, you know, and typing and all of that. At that time, the computer wasn't as popular. Later on, became.
So I meant to ask you, you was doing an interview for her to do, kind of be like her aide or something?
Her assistant.
Assistant,
Yeah.
yeah, okay.
So I worked with her band. She had a very good band. And the different people involved. RCA recording records, we used to have to go to California to do some of the work there too. And she did have a manager that was also there. So even though the home was in Mount Vernon, New York, the recording was there in California.
So I want to do another 2 or 3 shows with you about some of your experiences. But in the time that we have left, could you tell us about your original heritage here in the United States?
Oh, that was something that my sister, Amaz Oko, who is no longer here also, she passed about 2 years ago. But
Sorry to hear that.
that was something she and I really worked on. I have 7 brothers and 2 sisters, well, now 1. But she and I worked on our heritage. We worked on our DNA, which is something a lot of people are doing now. We did it in 1968. And we got our information from my grandparents as well as my parents. But we had older grandparents there that remembered, like my grandma Mary, they had a farm in Clarksdale, Mississippi, which is where I was born in 1949. I was born with a midwife, which on my birth certificate says Bessie Carter. But they have that farm, and it's still there. But what happened was we checked on how it was passed down.
Wait just a second. I want you to talk about the original heritage to the Muslim, the brother that was the prince among slaves.
Oh, that was from Africa.
Yes.
And that was the stuff that the information we was able to get. And it's pretty much talked about today. It was slaves being brought from Africa to Mississippi and the southern states. And that's where Abdul Rahman was a slave. That was the story in our family.
And he is part of your family.
He was part of the family.
So you see that, you hear that music?
Yeah.
We don't have time to go into that, but I'm going to ask you, would you come back and do another show with us and get more in detail about that?
Yes, I will.
The Prince among Slaves, Abdul Rahman?
Yes, I will.
And also some of your other, because you also told me you was involved with the, not involved, but you had dealings with the Prince of Brunei.
Oh, that's when after I left the police department, sheriff department, I went and worked as security, and I was doing security in Marietta, Georgia, at the Marietta Conference Center, and that's where the Prince of Brunei came to stay. So that's how I had that opportunity of just.
So we're going to have an exciting show the next time you come and join us. Thank you, sister, very much for,
You're welcome.
for all that you shared with us. Because
Alhamdulillah, it's been a blessing from Allah.
You're a very important person. What they call it, VIP.
Oh, wow. I've never been called that before.
So, assalamu alaikum, sister.
Wa alaikum salam.